Yeah. Hey. Well, yeah. Goonies never say die. You know what time it is. We got horror suspense. Listen, Kevin Trav digging in the bin. Dirty Dancing in Encino Man. You never know what you'll find in Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. He's got all these flicks from way back when. Marty McFly in the DeLorean. Gotta love the Cage and whatever he's in. Face off Snake Guys, you know it's a win. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, let's begin.
Hello and welcome to Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, the podcast where we take your favorite movies, give you some facts, tell you the plot in 45 minutes or so, maybe more, maybe less, and there might even be a few jokes along the way. I'm your host, Travis.
And I'm your host, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin. Oh, it feels so good to be on a podcast with you. Finally, you funny man.
Oh, now you're setting the bar high. You're calling me funny. I'm going to have to try to be funny.
Funniest man.
The funniest man that's ever lived. His name is Travis. Hey, Travis.
What?
Man, I'm so excited. Like, we are breaking the bottle on this ship. We're setting it to sail.
Yeah.
We have gestated this project in our collective mental uterus, and now we are sending it through the birth canal of our mouths. That was the weirdest way I could have possibly said that, wasn't it, Trav?
You are so funny. I just think it's so funny. That's incredible stuff, man. But no, we're Travis and Kevin, man. We're going to be talking about a bunch of movies over the next few weeks here. These episodes, if you follow along with Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, and I'm sure you saw the title. We have a lot to explain to you. You got to know who we are, but you're also curious because you heard Travis and Kevin. You didn't hear the name Doug. Who's Doug? You're probably wondering. Who on earth
Doug?
could that be?
Well, how about we cover who we are first? Travis, well, why don't you tell the listeners who you are?
Sure. I'm a Leo from the mountains of Virginia. I'm a big, I would say, not movie buff. But that's the thing. I think I am the naive piece of our collective here, and Kev here, much more learned in the film. Not that I've never seen a movie before. I wasn't in prison for 30 years, and this is my first few. But I think I bring to the table a lot of that just regular casual guy energy. So that's why I'm here. I'm super into the movie that we're going to be talking about in this episode, though, because it was a staple of my childhood.
Well, Trav, I would have never thought you were a Leo. I thought you were maybe like a Sagittarius. You know, you just you carry that big Sagittarius energy, if you know what I mean.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I'm
not Leo all the way, buddy. Right there in the thick of August. Yeah. Like I'm attracted to bright colors and what's the other thing they say about me? I don't know. I'm unlucky, I think.
Oh shucks, man. Well, I'm a Cancer. I'm also a human being who is referred to as a Cancer. I am Kevin, and I do the stand-up comedies sometimes. I'm on another podcast, Blue Peg Pink Peg, which is a board gaming podcast. Trav, you're on like 600 podcasts over on the Polymedia Network, which are all awesome. Just want to shout you out over there, buddy.
Oh. Thank you. Well, and yours as well. The Board Gaming Podcast is wonderful, and that's correct. I forgot to mention that, I have a real job, but what my desire is to be on every single podcast out there, monopolize the airwaves with my voice.
You're winning by attrition, man. You and I met doing improv comedy. You and I both are at this point in our lives. Both, we could say we're close to middle age, and we're doing improv comedy. So I think our trajectory is just perfect.
Yeah, I am learning that it's one of those things that the young folks get into. Oh. And then maybe they branch out and do other things like actual acting or actual comedy. But we're right here. We're right in our mid to late 30s, and we're still just yucking it up, just doing the make-em-ups downtown. It's been a lot of fun. I'm still very new to it, but I've learned quite a bit. Believe it or not.
Now, for me as a movie guy, I was an actor. That's what I did professionally for a number of years. You probably wouldn't have ever seen me anything because I mostly did stage, but I was huge into movies. I've kind of backed off movies a little bit. I just feel like they've gotten a little shallow and pedantic. To sound very smart, which I'm not. I definitely am a lover of movies, but I also have sort of a casual palate for movies. You know, I don't have the fancy words like a Siskel or an Ebert or something like that would have. So I feel like you and I are going to bring a real folksy wisdom to our movie viewing. Wouldn't you say, Travis?
That is a really good way to put it. We're just a couple folks with a folksy outtake, and we're just going to be hitting you with some just casual movies. It's the exact kind of movies that you would find in your uncle's DVD bin. If you had an uncle, picture that uncle. Everyone's got that weird uncle who's just, you know, maybe a little antisocial, a little strange. He's got a bunch of collections, but the one that he shares with you is the DVD collection.
Yeah. So speaking of Uncle Doug, I feel like it's time that we introduce Uncle Doug. And I don't know any way to say this, but you and I both have known Uncle Doug for a while. And we were chatting with him, and we said, like, hey, you know, we're thinking about doing this podcast together. We think it might be fun. It might be funny. He's like, I got you. I got exactly what you need. And he went to the back of his canary yellow Chevy C10 pickup and dropped the tailgate, and there was just this massive bin of DVDs.
Massive bin of DVDs. It almost crushed you. It came loose a little bit on the bed, and I was like, Kev, watch out, big old bin of DVDs. And I was like, Doug, how long have you been collecting these? Well, first we had to ask him. We both were like, did you steal these? Like, why are you trying to? Because it felt like he was pawning them off on us. But no, that's been his lifelong collection of DVDs, and he's got movies in there from, you know, the whatever's been re-released on DVD from the 40s and 50s all the way up to today. And he doesn't get Blu-ray still. It's always the DVD. He dares not get that 4K or that HD because he doesn't believe in it.
Well, he told me he thinks Blu-rays are how the government track you.
Right, and I was like, you might be thinking of Bluetooth, but I'm not going to argue with you right now.
You don't argue with Uncle Doug. If I were describing Uncle Doug, and Trav, you can chime in on this, but I would describe him as like if you had a blender in front of you and you dumped like 1 part World's Most Interesting Man, 1 part Dale Earnhardt, like a splash of Tabasco sauce in there, and then you just sort of took, like when Prince was Prince, but he was the artist formerly known as Prince, and just a splash of that because he has some showmanship, and mixed all that up. That, my friend, would be an Uncle Doug smoothie. Like, that is the man, the myth, the legend, Uncle Doug.
You absolutely nailed it. I don't even think I can add anything to it other than I think you said something like a little bit of Dale Earnhardt, but it's a lot of bit of Dale Earnhardt. Yeah. It seems like a lot more Dale Earnhardt than you might expect. And that comes, Dale Earnhardt only has a few traits, but Doug encompasses all of them.
He does.
The fire suit, the mustache, the aviators, all of that. So I'm looking forward to more episodes of this podcast and getting into a little bit. We'll unveil a little bit more about the eclectic Uncle Doug as we go, because we're learning as you're learning. As each episode, as we dig into the bin, we have to interact with this guy. Things always come to light. He is just, if nothing else, he's just a bunch of secrets walking around under a hat.
He is. He's what my daddy would have called. He's a character. He's a character.
Oh, yeah.
He's a real catbird. He's a real catbird, what that one is. Yeah,
I've never heard of catbird.
You never heard
okay.
catbird? Oh, man.
No.
Yeah,
no.
You're from the South. I thought.
Does that also mean character?
Yeah, pretty much. It means he's like
okay.
a wild cat, a wild card, He's a catbird.
Okay.
All right. Which I don't, I guess now that I'm really thinking about that, it doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but it is a thing. Now, what we're doing to frame this is for every episode, we're randomly going to pull a DVD out of the bin, and then that's going to be the movie that we do the episode on. And we get a little factoid from Doug about like what he thought about the movie or where he got it, or something like that we can kind of bring to you guys, the listeners, so you can sort of shape up and think what or get a mental image of who and what an Uncle Doug is. So hopefully, Travis, this is an experiment, and there's some experiments, man, that you don't know the outcome until you run them, and I feel like this is one of them. We just don't know what we're going to get until we run the experiment.
I would argue that is most experiments, to be honest.
Well, yeah, but you go into an experiment, you gotta. I remember I took 8th grade science, and you have to have a hypothesis. I don't even have a hypothesis here.
Oh, right. Oh, I see. Yes. No, I'm with you on that, 100%. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, heck yeah. Well, our first movie that we're going to be covering is a movie, again, we pulled it randomly. Who would have thought 2 guys get to know each other would watch Dirty Dancing together to record their first podcast? But that is exactly what happened. And you actually dropped. I don't know if it's necessarily about Dirty Dancing, but it's about a song from Dirty Dancing. You dropped a story from your, I guess, teenhood or childhood on me that just it blew me away. Travis, in a number of ways. And I was wondering maybe, I don't want to put you on the spot here, buddy, but I was wondering maybe you'd share that with the listeners.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of things come to mind when Dirty Dancing came out of the bin. I mean, I grew up watching it. I remember watching it a lot with my sister, my teenage sister at the time, who loved it. And all of those memories come to mind, sure. But one that sticks out to me actually comes later in life. And again, it's not specific to the movie, but I cannot disassociate the two now. Played high school football back in the day. We were Warriors back there in the mountains. Small high school, go Warriors, orange and black attack, get the ball back. We're a very defensive-minded unit. And made it all the way to the playoffs my junior year. We were good. I don't want to paint a different, and I want to make sure it's clear we were a very good football team, okay? And we were expected to win this game, okay? Higher seed in the playoffs. And comes in at halftime, and we're down by a field goal. Oh, it's not looking good.
You didn't mention that. You didn't mention that you guys were down on the scorecard.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I've painted that picture. Let's take a step back. Throughout the season, this football coach of ours this year, brand new to our school, okay? First-year coach with us, and that whole year, and we love the dude. Great guy, a bit older, and he lost his mom that year, and the whole football team went to her wake, and we all bonded. That was, it was like I remember the Titans moment. We all came together, said, all right, this is going to be, we're going to try to make something special here. And so at halftime when we're down, he had planned whether we were up or down, he was going to do this, all right, to get us fired up a little bit. And he comes in the locker room, turns out the lights. We're all there in our cleats in our lockers. It's dark in there. You just hear the cleats off the concrete. And he says, gentlemen, I just want to let you guys know this has been a wonderful season for me, no matter how this shakes out. And I want everybody to close their eyes. And it's like, it's already dark in here. We don't really have to close our eyes, do we? But close your eyes, all right? I want to play a little something for y'all to let you know what you mean to me. What this has meant to me this season, y'all being with me through what I've been through. I'm going to go ahead and play a little song, and I just want you guys to think about it. And we're going to go back out there, and we're going to kick some Bucko Warriors. Like, all right. And he fumbles with the CD player in the dark for a minute till he gets it going. And I don't know what we're going to. I'm like, we're going to get like Dragula from Rob Zombie or something, fire us up? Or are we going to get some sad
Enter
but
Sandman,
true?
you know?
Enter Sandman, maybe?
Some Slayer.
This is what we hear. Had the time of my life. Everybody's like, oh God. And we went out there and we lost the rest of that football game.
So what you're telling me, hold on, I have so many questions about this. First of all, Trav, I got to compliment you on the way you told that story. I could smell the jock straps from the amazing sensory details that you were giving me, first of all. So that was a great retelling of that story. Like, for a minute, the way you were telling it, I thought you started singing I Had the Time of My Life in the dark while he was fumbling with the CD player. So that's not what happened. He actually put that CD on.
Yes. Yeah.
And
had it lined up. Yeah.
Lined up just perfectly to when you started singing it, completely by happenstance. I love that. Man, that's so good. All right. So what you're telling me is if I'm trying to pump up my football team to get back on. By the way, you guys, like, it sounds like he took 45 minutes to do this and give the speech, so you probably got a penalty for not getting back on the field fast enough, first of all.
Yeah. Yep.
But then it's like, okay, I want to get my team pumped up. I need to play something that's not from Dirty Dancing. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That would be the way to go. That would be the way to go. I mean, even in the early 2000s when this was, and this movie came out in 87, so 14 years after the fact, 14, 15 years, everyone in that locker room knew exactly where that song came from. And just knowing that, I think, deflated us a little bit in our heart. We're like, really? Dirty Dance? I mean, not that we don't love the movie. It's just not fitting the vibe tonight, Coach.
That's right. You were more deflated than Tom Brady with a football, I tell you.
That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah,
but I will say, bless his heart, we do love that coach, but that was a very cringy halftime speech.
Well, I have some childhood memories. I guess you had a teenhood memory. I have some childhood memories of watching this with like my mom and me not quite comprehending a lot of the things that was going on. Like the Dirty Dancing, I was just like, oh, look, they're being silly and gyrating around. I didn't know the word gyrating, but jiggling around, whatever, goofing around. And so I didn't get like a lot of the, there's some serious tones in this movie. They talk about abortion and like social classes in Vietnam and racial issues are mentioned a couple of times. So, like I didn't get any of that. I was just like, my mom likes this movie. Cool. And then like, why does Patrick Swayze always have his shirt off? Whatever. That was basically my childhood experience with Dirty Dancing.
So how come when everybody's dancing, they're happy, and when they're not, they're crying and sad? What is going on?
And I realize that is sort of like life. Now that I've gotten older, I realize whenever I stop dancing is when I get sad. So I just never stop, Trav. Never stop. That's how I live my life. But
that's what Doug told us, too. Never stop dancing, boys. I remember him saying that. That might have been what he was alluding to.
That might have been, yeah. As I was getting crate after crate out of the back of his truck, from this DVD. And by the way, thanks for not helping me. I know you said you got a bad back, but I appreciate you not helping me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really do have a bad back, and your back was looking pretty good, so I just let it go. You had your shirt off the whole time. You look like a little bit of a Patrick Swayze yourself there, so I wasn't going to intervene.
Yeah, except for hairier and pale. I had that going on. I don't know what that's about. But so let me say that we actually have, I don't know if it's a special connection or kinship, but you and I both live proximally, if I can read the note, that's a lot more syllables than I normally use, but proximally, as you've put into our show notes here, to Mountain Lake, which is where Dirty Dancing was filmed.
That is right. And it's I'm a little closer to it currently as we speak, maybe 30, 45 minutes away, not too far. Mm-hmm. But it's a place that it's still open. You can still visit, but it looks a little different than it did in the 80s because in 1999, that big, beautiful lake that you see in the movie dried up. It just went away. And it's come back a little bit and gone away and come back a little bit and gone away. And it's just a kind of a geographical anomaly in that this lake is on a cycle where it does this every 400 years or so. They suspect, because we've not been here for 400 years. They're just kind of like, I bet every 400 years or so it does a little something like this. And so I think a little bit in 2020 it came back and was like halfway back to where it used to be because it went 20 years without any water. They had to build a pool. So in the movie where you see the courtyard between where she walks from the cabin that they're staying in all the way up to the big place where they're having all the dinner parties and whatnot, there's that pathway. That is all a pool now because they had to have some attraction for the 20 years where there was no lake water. So it's changed a little bit, but it's still a fun place. I went there last year with my wife, and they still have a good bar and a good dinner set up, and you can stay the night, and they've got a lot of little, kind of walk through of where things were shot in the movie and that kind of thing. So it's still a fun place, Old Mountain Lake.
Heck yeah. You know what I actually think it is? I think it dried up when Patrick Swayze left. You know what I mean? Things get a lot drier when Patrick Swayze isn't around.
Yep. Yeah,
I can remember my family. We went there as a kid. I haven't been there as an adult, so I think there was still water there when it probably would have been like early '90s. There was still some water there, still some lake action going on. But Dirty Dancing. Now it was released on August 21st of 1987. The director was Emile Ardolino. It was written by Eleanor Bergstein, and it was based on some kind of stuff from her, I would say childhood, but probably teenhood or, late early adulthood sort of situation. So it was kind of based on some of that. It stars, are you ready for this, Trav? I can see you're already starting to sweat. Some Patrick Swayze. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So, some Jennifer Grey. And Jennifer Grey... Man, she looks so pretty in this. I mean, I don't mean to come across like a creep, but she does. She looks real pretty in this.
I mean, we just commented on how Patrick Swayze made us both creak up a little bit. So I think, saying that Jennifer Grey is pretty is not an overstatement at all.
I also did refer to my mouth as a birth canal earlier. I guess I've already just set the bar so low. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever.
It's a weird bar.
It's a weird bar. But Jerry Orbach in this one too.
The hottest of all. Sweet, sweet Jer Bear.
I do love Jerry Orbach, man. And I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Newman on Seinfeld. He's on here, too. He does, like, everything at this hotel. He's part, like, bellhop, activities coordinator, stand-up comedian. Like, this guy just does everything at this hotel. I hope that Max Kellerman, who owns the resort, appreciates Newman.
I hope so, too. And I love seeing Newman in this, man. He's great.
He is. Every time he pops up, I'm like, oh, yeah, there he is. Well, you and I probably, I would say we enjoyed this movie, or at least I did. Again, this was me watching it as an adult for the first time and actually picking up on a lot of the stuff I missed when I was a kid. So, maybe there's a little bit of that going on here. But Trav, one thing that we wanted to do, again, you and I are both folksy. We're common people. We wanted to go out there, hop on the internets, and find some thoughts, some reviews from the common person out there, and see what they thought of these movies. And that's gonna be a little segment of our podcast. And Trav, you've got them. You got them in hand, ready to bring them to the podcast. What did you bring for us?
That's right. So I dug through both IMDb and Letterboxd. That's Letterboxd without that last E. You don't need it. And there, people can leave their homegrown reviews. You don't have to read about what Roger Ebert thought. You can go see what the everyday person thought about these movies. And I did find through doing this that I might never pull one from IMDb again, because it's very hard to find exactly the stars that you want to find there. So anyway, I'm going to start out with people who loved it. These are your 5 stars. This first one actually does come from IMDb. This is from Nathaniel John. He watched the film about a year ago. He says, I was not expecting this film to be this good. When I first saw it, I thought it would be one of your normal romantic comedies with no twist in it, but it really wasn't. The cinematography and music was just on point. This would be a definite watch for whoever loves dancing and romantic comedies.
Man, he did like this one. I mean, him and my mom, they would have been hanging out, just watching some Dirty Dancing. I will agree. I thought the cinematography was pretty good. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of rom-coms. I guess that's sort of the blind spot for me when it comes to movies. I have seen Love Actually, though, so I mean that's basically the best rom-com out there. So yeah, I kind of agree with him. I think it's up there. I think it's up there with the rom-coms. I'm gonna agree with Nathaniel John here.
Another lover of Dirty Dancing. This one, all of these from the here on out will come from Letterboxd. This is Tony Mayonnaise, probably his real name. Probably his real name. He got in that big turf war with Hellman's back in the late 1800s, and
listen,
the
man,
Mayonnaise family.
I'm a Dukes guy. All right, I'm a Dukes man.
Oh, really? You're a Dukes man. All right.
Dang right.
Well, Tony Mayonnaise watched this back mid-January of 2022. 5 stars. Says the dancing is dirty and the moves are hot. Don't sleep on this saucy sucker.
I would expect someone to make a sauce or saucy reference if their last name was Mayonnaise. That tracks.
Right? I should click through and see if I can find the rest of their reviews to see if there's always some allusion to sauce or a condiment of some sort.
Who's like...
So that's our...
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, Travis. I interrupted you, but I don't have anything else to say. So I'm gonna leave this in. It's fine. It's awkward. It's weird. We need to set the, like I said, we need to set the bar low so that as people continue to listen, they're like, all right, and this podcast is gonna at least stay this low or maybe get a little better.
Right. Set it so low that we're bound to trip over it. That's a good idea. Next up, 3 stars. People that are just a little meh on it. Didn't hit them too high. Didn't hit them too low. This first one here is from B. Klesson, I think. This was the day before Tony Mayonnaise watched this. This review comes in 3 stars. 3 stars. I want to stress 3 stars. I had the time of my life.
Wait.
3 stars.
They had the time of their life, and they still only... I mean, I know they're quoting the song, haha, funny, dude, but you still only gave it 3 stars, and you're saying you had the time of your life?
I want that on a T-shirt. I had the time of my life. 3 stars. That's what I love it. I love it. That's just the most, like, how difficult are you to please?
I know.
You're impossible to impress.
Pretty sure I dated her. That's definitely a thing that happened.
Well, let's see what people low on it are all about. And the thing I like about Letterboxd, you can get all the way down to a 0.5 star if you want to. You know, you can really pin a movie to the ground. This first one here is from Kate Town, and that is spelled K number 8 Town. Probably not their God-given. And they watched this back midsummer of last year, 2021, 0.5 star. This movie is so bad it made me pee.
Hold
Made
on.
him pee, Kev.
Hold on. Time out.
Made him pee-pee.
I've got so many questions. I first of all,
Sure.
I've only
What do you
ever
got?
seen one movie that I walked out on. I've seen a lot of bad movies, right? But I've only ever walked out on one.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never watched a movie and thought, this is so bad, I got to take a tinkle. Like, I've never had that happen.
Right.
That is a universally unique phenomenon to this reviewer.
Yeah, I will say pee is not something that happens to me out of disgust. I'm more of a glee peer. If I get excited, I might pee. I'm like a little puppy. I've never been like, dude, this is so messed up. I'm gonna go pee. I've never been like that.
Trav, if you ever release an autobiography, will you please name it Glee Peer?
It will be a chapter.
Okay.
That's a chapter.
Okay, all right. You can commit to at least a chapter.
And then our last one here, a full star, not a half star like Cape Town. This is a full star from Jason Bali. November 26th, 2016. I've never gotten the attraction of this movie. I could sit here and type nasty comments about it all afternoon, but why bother? You either loved this thing or hated it. And if you loved it, no snide comments I make are going to be able to penetrate the alien spores that have obviously penetrated your brain.
Wait. Okay, that's I'm gonna go on record as saying I think that's the first time anyone's ever mentioned alien spores in a movie review. First of all, that's pretty impressive.
That wasn't about Alien. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there wasn't. The film didn't feature alien spores as a literal plot point. And what a bizarre like. God, have you, man? Trav, I don't even know what to say about this one. Like, I'm so confused. Like, no snide comments I make are going to be able to penetrate the alien spores that have obviously penetrated your brain. Well, first of all, just from critiquing many an English essay, I would say using penetrate and penetrated that close together, not good.
Can't do that. Good. Can't do that. Although, what are some synonyms of penetrate? What would you suggest here?
Like entered.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, that would be okay.
That have obviously gotten all up in your brain. That's maybe what I would have gone with.
Spitballing here. That would obviously
have taken shelter inside of your noggin. Well, Jason, boo on you. It's a fine film.
Yeah.
But our last 1 star. You're not going to believe who this is from. Now, this is a review. This is a review from August 21st, 1987.
Oh my God! This must have been when it came out. Who the heck would have been
the day it came out?
Did they have Letterboxd in 1987?
They sure didn't, bud. No, this is going to be probably in your morning news of some sort, maybe over in the entertainment section, maybe a page 7 ordeal. This one comes from Roger Ebert himself. 1 star. Did not like. No bueno, he said, probably.
Yeah, right.
I didn't read what he wrote, but he probably said no bueno at some point in the write-up.
Why? How many stars were on his rating scale? I mean, presumably more than 1, right?
I think it's 1 star or 2 thumbs. I'm real confused. I'm not real invested in what he does. It's like a thumb-star mix.
I'm trying to think. I think he wrote for Chicago Sun-Times, if I remember right. But, yeah, 1 star? I mean, this movie is way better than a 1 star, for sure.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, who am I to disagree with the legendary Roger Ebert? But I'm going to go ahead and do it. I disagree with him. I think that this is... If I were... All right, so it's what, 5 stars on Letterboxd? I'm going to give this one... I'd do a split. I'd go like 3.5. I'd go 3.5. Maybe... No, you know what? I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4. Just for the nostalgia value of it. I'm going to go 4 on this one. What about you, Trav?
You know, the fact that it took you so long to come up with your rating probably means we're not going to do these on any other episodes after this.
Nope.
But to appease you, I'll say 3.5.
You know what, though? I will leave it open. If I decide to throw in a numeric value to a movie at some point, maybe say season 2 or 3 or 4, I don't want to pigeonhole myself here because I won't even remember what I've said right now, Travis. Come on, man.
I totally get it.
Well, let's get to that plot. Okay, so the movie opens, and we see the family. We got baby, all right? We got baby sister. We got baby mama. Baby mama? Baby mama? No. Baby's mama. There we go. That's what I wanted. We got that happening.
You're getting there, bud.
And I cannot remember what Jerry Orbach's character's name was. I think... I mean,
Jake Houseman.
Yeah, there you go. Look, I'm not going to remember that, so I'm just going to call him Dr. Daddy. He's going to be called Dr. Daddy from here on out. All right, that's what
I ask to be called around my house, and
how's that working out?
No one does it.
Oh man,
no one does it.
When the movie starts proper, we see the family. They're heading in their car, and we get the idea. Okay, well, he's Dr. Daddy. He's probably got a little more money than the average Joe, and so they're affluent. and they're heading towards the Kellerman Resort, which is supposedly in the Catskills, but you and I have already covered this, is in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. So, hey, roll on back. Now, this movie is set in the 60s, so it's got a lot of that aesthetic. They're driving kind of classic cars, and some of the costuming kind of informs that. And as we get to know the family a little bit, we know that, obviously, Baby is the more idealistic, sort of I can change the world sister. And her sister is a little more, I don't know, what's the right word, Travis?
I would say materialistic.
Yeah, like when they first arrived at the resort, one of the first things that she said was like, oh, I should have packed my copper shoes. I think she says not. I don't think the shoes were literally copper. I think they were copper in color, or maybe they were copper. I don't know. And then
I was like, "What is she, Dutch?" I don't even know if that's a Dutch thing, but it feels like it should be.
Yeah, maybe they were copper shoes. I don't know. But anyway, they show up at the resort, and her mom's like, "We already brought like 75 pairs of shoes," and she's like, "Yeah, I know, but it would have really looked good." So yeah, you're right, Trav. She's definitely materialistic. That's kind of her jam. And I'm actually looking at my notes here, and it's specifically set in 1967. Okay, so nope, 1963.
Sure? 3, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
need to get my prescription check, Trav. So
yeah, you do.
So they get to the hotel. And one of the first things that they want to do is, obviously, I mean, this is a dancing movie. This is called Dirty Dancing, so they want to get them some dancing in. So they head over for a merengue lesson led by a former rockette. I mean, it's not easy to be a rockette, let me tell you that. I've tried. And that rockette is one Penny Johnson, who, I just want to throw this out there, my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
She's probably the most... I don't know what you would say. She has got a wide range in this movie. She has to be very emotive because she's going to have some things happen to her that are not so swell.
Yeah. She has, I think, the most kind of compelling character arc in this. You know, like she starts out, she just thinks... I guess she sort of follows the same character arc as Patrick Swayze's character Johnny, where she thinks like Baby's this terrible person, and she, you know, it is this interesting classist sort of setup where like the serving class has preconceptions about the more wealthy and affluent folks that are there on vacation, and the wealthy and affluent folks have this preconceived notion about the working folks that are there at the hotel. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, they take this merengue lesson on the gazebo. Now this gazebo gets used a lot, and it's overlooking the water, but there's nothing of real consequence there. We're just kind of it's just a little bit of movie foreplay. We're getting into the meat of it a little bit. We're finding out what's going on.
And we do find out as soon as they get on site, because they meet Max Kellerman, who is the guy that runs this joint. This is Kellerman's place, and he alludes to how long they're going to be there. Okay, and so you and I watched this because we thought, what is this, like a week or something? It's because, you know, most vacations are about a week, right? Turns out that Dr. Hausman, Dr. Daddy, is here because he's there to be the on-site physician for Kellerman, who's got a bad heart.
Oh, dang.
And so this whole thing is going to last 3 weeks, a 3-week vacation, which it's long, but this movie still somehow makes it seem like they're there for a whole year of Hogwarts. It feels like a whole semester they're at this place.
It is, man. I bet Johnny was teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts for show. Yeah, it does. It seems like it is a vacation of indeterminate length, for sure. It is interesting that he's there. Like, how much is Kellerman paying him to be his like physician on call for this 3-week period? And did Dr. Daddy give up his regular practice? There's so many questions that will never be answered. They're just mysteries lost with time, Trap. But we're gonna let that go. So they have their nice merengue lesson out there on the gazebo. Everybody's laughing, having a good time. Penny's, killing it as a dance instructor. Well, later that evening, Baby's going to head on up to the main house where she overhears Max giving, you see a little bit of the veneer. You see more of the real Max. And now he's not a bad guy, but he's a very frank boss. And so he tells all the waiters and the other staff that's there, he says, listen, You need to be nice to all these young girls that are here. He says even the dogs, okay? Which I think it means girls that aren't pretty. So I kind of have a problem with that, referring to them as, I love dogs. You know what? It's a compliment. I'm going to take that back because I love dogs. I love dogs more than most people. So you know what? I know he didn't mean it that way, but you know what, Trav? He can stuff it because dogs are awesome.
I agree with that 100%. And not long after this speech, of course, Baby's still peering through the window, which she does a lot in this movie. She's very, very stalky, very creepy. She sees the man of the show come in, man. We see Johnny waltz in, leather jacket slung over his shoulders, sunglasses while he's inside. It's nighttime outside. We just saw her walk in. Why was he wearing them? He's got them on right here, and he just walks in. Everyone knows who this guy is. He's the entertainment, and we get a feel that this guy's a bit of a rock star, huh?
Heck yeah, he is. And Max, he lays out the rules. He says, you teach the daughters dances. They pay to learn, but otherwise no funny business, no conversations, and keep your hands off. And he looks at Johnny, and you get the feeling like Johnny's definitely not going to keep his hands off.
Seems very handsy. No, you're right.
So handsy. But it's just that's how he makes his tips. We find out later. He basically gets exploited by these kind of rich, older cougars. Is cougars a good term?
I think. I mean, when you say cougar, I know exactly what you mean. So, yes.
I'm not...
large cat.
No, Trav. No, I'm talking about...
In the dark.
No, Trav, come on, man. Have you not heard the term in our street slang, our vernacular of cougar? It refers to an older lady who pounces on younger dudes.
Oh.
Or ladies, I guess.
My God. Wow. Whew. I need to go to your church.
You're invited at any time, man. Well, later we have a nice dinner scene. The family's sitting down for their first dinner at the Kellerman Resort, and we find out the baby is enrolled in Mount Holyoke College. Holyoke College? I wrote down the note. I don't know where that is, but it probably doesn't matter. She's going to study economics of developing countries. This is where we get a little bit more of her altruistic side. She's going to enlist in the Peace Corps, while Lisa wants to be an interior decorator. Now, Baby kind of looks down on that a little bit, but man, you know what? Interior decorators, they work hard too. I'm just going to say that. So we meet two characters that are going to come back. We meet both Robbie and Neil. Now, both are not great. I mean, Neil is less not great than Robbie. Neil is just sort of like the smarmy boss's nephew who hits on Baby. He's like, hey, I run the resort. I'm gonna be the top guy. I'm going to Cornell. Whereas Robbie, we find out later, is just an absolute scumbag.
He is the dirt of the earth, but we don't like that Robbie. In fact, earlier when Johnny actually runs into Robbie when he walks in, they have a bit of an interaction to kind of paint the picture that they already know each other and don't like each other. And Robbie makes a comment about how Johnny's not going to be able to keep his hands off the ladies, which is a big comment from Robbie.
That's right.
We'll find out later. But Johnny tells him, he's like, hey, man, why don't you just keep putting pickles on people's plates, pal? Which I think is a great tongue twister. And also kind of a double innuendo, which is not great. You definitely don't want to just be telling people to go put their pickle on people's plates.
I agree, Trav. Unless it's a sour gherkin. But anyway, we'll get there later. So yeah, I think that's about covers up that scene. We find out that Robbie is kind of a server or works as a busboy there. So he's kind of working his way through medical school right now. He's going to be a doctor. So obviously Baby's dad's like, Dr. Daddy's like, oh yeah, he's going to be a doctor. I by default like him. So the band strikes up, they play some music, and this is where we see Johnny and Penny dance for the first time. And in my notes, it says it was a sexy dance. So I'm guessing it was a sexy dance. Would you say it was a sexy dance, Travis?
Can confirm. honestly, any dance that those two do in this movie are going to be peak sexy, and that's what we're striving to get back to for the rest of the movie. Trying to get back to that peak sexy. They really do it well together, and it steals the show. Everyone's like, "Gosh, dang it!" But you know who's spying the hardest and being the biggest creep? Even while she's dancing with Neil, that'd be Baby, looking over her shoulder, not really paying attention to sweet Neil, who's just trying to have the night of his life. She's like, wow, who's that character over there looking all smooth and suave with his dance moves? That's Patrick Swayze, girl. Come on.
Baby is like straight up yo-yo and drool out of her mouth, like trying not to just drool everywhere when she sees Patrick Swayze. So she ends up going and runs into Johnny's cousin, I think Billy is his name, and he's carrying what can only be described as an unnecessary amount of watermelons.
They are so big. And what you find is that he's taking them to a dance club that night, which is, I don't know if that seems weird to me. You know, rarely do I attend dance clubs, but the times that I've been there, very few people walking in with giant fruit. You just never see it. But Robbie's on his way. And, you know, it's not that he's just got some watermelon. They're the biggest watermelons I think I might have ever seen. But you know what?
Like it sets 12, Trav. He's got like 12 of these things.
He's got way too many, for sure. I mean, it will feed the whole dance club. So, you know, his heart's in the right place. But Baby takes this opportunity. She sees this guy, and she's like, bro, do you need help with all these giant watermelons you're trying to hoist across this bridge? He says, in matter of fact. And so they end up taking these watermelons to here. Now, this is kind of a pivotal point in the movie, because without this, we might not, you know, have the rest of the movie. This is sort of that coincidental happenstance that takes Baby to where she's going to make contact with the man himself. Johnny
Swayze. I like that you said make contact, because Patrick Swayze is like from another world, daddy-o. You know what I'm saying? He's just boom. He's so spectacular. She does, and there's this like awkward, like fumbling watermelon scene where she ends up carrying some. And again, I just want to point out they go to this it's a dance party. It's somewhere on the resort, presumably in like
it's like an after party for the big show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's eating any watermelon. No one is excited to see watermelon. No one cuts up watermelon.
Nobody.
It never comes back other than just to get her there. Fine, whatever. And this is where the doors roll open, and this is where, as a young man, I felt funny feelings, because I did not understand. This is where you see the first real dirty dancing, and I just didn't understand what was going on here.
Yeah, this is the moment where, as a kid, I was like, man, they're really going to put this on TNT, huh? Gosh dang. You know?
They did.
But yeah, and this is another moment. I mean, he's already had, imagine getting two amazing entrances in a movie. The first one, like I already talked about, he had the jacket over his shoulder and his sunglasses on. Not too long after they get here with these watermelons, he's going to bust in, chugging a Michelob, sunglasses still on, and get back into more dancing at the after party with all of the cool kids. Here's where you see a lot of the young nightlife really getting down at this resort.
Dang right, man. They're having a great time. There is, and this is some raunchy mountain dancing, Travis. There's some raunchy mountain dancing going down here.
Dang right there is.
There's actually a scene where, and him and Penny kind of dance together for a little bit, and Baby, of course, is sitting there with the drool hanging out of her mouth, like yo-yoing it up and down, just trying not to let it hit the floor. And, or just, maybe it looks like she's awkwardly holding in a fart. I can't figure out which one, Trav. Maybe both.
Yeah, she does fight some gas off later in the film, too, so that would make sense.
But there's a scene where Penny literally, like, scooches up, and there's no delicate way to say this. We're going to listen on this podcast. We're going to try not to be too raunchy or dirty or whatever. We might
this
venture into
the kids.
Yeah, it's for the kids. We might venture into some like PG-13 territory occasionally. But she scooches up on Johnny's shoulders and is like facing him, like her crotch is facing him, and she's just like a gyrating and wiggling her skirt. And I'm like, this is beyond any. Well, first of all, that's not great for his back, okay? You had me carry all those DVDs, and I can, sympathize.
Also, my first thought, I was like, his poor back the whole time I saw that. Then I was like, does his face, ma'am, does his face look like a bike seat? I don't think it does. You need to get down.
His name is Patrick Swayze, not Patrick Schwinn. So stupid. So stupid. So, yeah, there's some dirty dancing here that occurs, is the gist of what we're trying to tell you. Well, this is where Johnny and Baby get to have their first little moment, and they kind of like dance a little bit, and Johnny's trying to teach Baby how to dance, and it is awkward Dude, it is so awkward, Trav.
It looks like Patrick Swayze trying to dance with me. Like you would have been the exact same awkward. She kind of looks like she's pretending to be a washing machine, like the middle part that spins a little bit. She's just kind of doing this weird rotate, and then he tries to grind on her, which is, that scene is rough, where she's like, I don't even know what grind. This is my first time seeing this. And now you're doing it right at me. It's wild.
It's like when you see a Gallagher show and you don't expect the watermelon to hit you, and then somehow it does. That's exactly what happens.
Right?
This
scene would have been much better if Gallagher were here with those watermelons over in the corner.
It would have been. And he's got like pants that are, jacked up to his armpits, which was the style at the time, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of awkward happening here, but you know what? They connect for the first time. They get to know each other. So, that's good. And there's some awkward dancing / grinding. So now the next evening, Baby's out for a little walk with Lord Neil, who, again, not necessarily a bad guy, just sort of a schmarmy boss's son, kind of, I guess technically boss's nephew, but boss's son. We've all worked with them. We know what they're like. So she's out with him, and he decides he's going to, like, try to impress her. And he's like, hey, you want to go to the kitchen? I can get you any snack you want. And which, frankly, at my age and disposition, anybody who offers me snacks and any snack that I want, I'm like, dude, I'm in. Like, whatever you want tonight, that's fine.
I know. I didn't even think that was too weird of bait. I was like, 100% I'm in line with this. But it turns out they find a little bit more than snacks in that old kitchen. They find someone very, very sad for a very legit reason to be sad. And oh man.
We see that Penny, my homegirl Penny, is in the kitchen, and she's crying and sort of cowering in the corner. That's what's going on here. And Baby realizes, oh man, Neil's the boss's son, or boss's nephew rather. If he sees Penny, she's going to get in trouble. I don't want that. So she kind of convinces him to leave the kitchen. Well, then Baby goes and finds Billy and Johnny and says, hey man, there's something wrong with Penny. She's in the kitchen, she's crying, maybe you guys want to go check on her. I'll go with. And along the way, by the way, Billy is just terrible at keeping secrets. He drops that Penny is actually pregnant, which is just a revelation. I mean, it does explain why she's upset, but drops that little nugget. And Baby says something. I can't remember exactly what it is. Like, what is Johnny going to do about it, or something along those lines? And Johnny's like, you thought she was mine, or you thought the baby was mine, like all defensive. And you're like, dude, I literally saw her riding your face like a bike seat earlier. Like, why are you so offended that people think this is your child?
You guys were doing some dance numbers, and I think I also saw a stand-up 69 a few times, and a 73, and I'm pretty sure I saw the classic 82 go down. So it's a fair assumption of mine that you have, in fact, impregnated this woman. I don't mean to be obtuse.
I'm so curious about what an 82 is. I guess I just haven't lived a life. I'll ask you off air, though, Travis. So, yeah, I mean, it's an assumption, I guess, and it's a wrong assumption, and I, too, feel bad for making it, but I did. And so Johnny goes in, and he says quite possibly one of the creepiest things, and he says this several times. You get the idea that they've been friends, like, their whole lives. Like, they were like, friends as kids together. I think Billy makes a reference to that earlier. But he comes in and he says, it's okay, Johnny's here. And then I'm like, you know what? If I was really down in the dumps and Patrick Swayze came to me and like picked me up in his arms and said, Johnny's here, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm good, man.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And so anyway, we find out that she is considering an abortion, or would like to get an abortion, but the money is a big issue. She doesn't have the money. It turns out that it's $250, which is like, I don't know, like, I'm going to say $7,000 in like today's money. I don't know what inflation is, but it's a lot. It's a lot of money, and they're all kind of working class folks, so it's hard to get that. And there's a little bit of like, Penny's like, who do you think you are, Baby, in here, like feeling sorry for me and, and trying to help her. And Baby learns throughout that conversation that Robbie, not Johnny, Robbie, remember that scummy little wannabe doctor, is actually the baby daddy.
Yeah. Maybe that's even an even bigger revelation, because I don't find that guy and her to be a match at all for even conversation, much less bases 1, 2, 3, and 4, as they say in baseball terms. So
Wait, there's
What do you know?
Oh, there's 4 bases. I mean, I guess technically, yeah, it's home plate's the 4th base. I guess you're right.
That's you don't say you don't scream yay 4th base whenever you get down. Whenever you're doing it.
Not yet. I mean, now that I know that's an option.
Yeah, scream it. They love it. But yeah, I mean, it fuels the fire. We've already had a reason to dislike Robbie, maybe 2 so far. Now it's like, oh, this scumbag.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he going to get what's coming to him? Yeah.
Well, not for a while. I will go ahead and let you know he does get some comeuppance later on in the film, but not just yet. So, Baby confronts Robbie the next day and says, "Look, you need to give Penny the $250 for the abortion." And he basically, and Baby's being pretty cool here. She's like helping him out with his job. She's like filling up the water, and he's like just throwing bagels in every direction. I don't know what exactly his job is to put bagels on tables where no one's there, but that's what he's doing. It's just part of the fun.
Bagel tosser.
Yeah. And he says, "I'm not going to do it because she's been," and this is me quoting him, she probably balls a bunch of guys or something along those lines.
Yeah, which I don't know the 1963 lingo, but I didn't know they were out there just balling dudes.
And he
randomly
gives Baby a copy of The Fountainhead because of course he does. Of course this is exactly the type of dude who gets a girl pregnant, leaves her just to the wolves, and then has the nerve to say negative things. Oh my God, I hate him. I feel like my neck is getting hot, Trav. Like I hate him so much, my neck is getting hot over here.
I feel like they tried too hard to make him hateable. They've crossed the line 4 times with this guy. And we should mention too, in that conversation that they had where it was Baby and Penny and Johnny and Robbie, and they were kind of coming to terms with like, the secret's out, at least as far as Baby's concerned. They float out the possibility that, hey, if Penny's going to be out of commission, maybe Baby could learn those moves. Mm-hmm. Learn those moves, be the next Penny. And everyone's like, hey, what? No way. There's no way this Did you see her do the washing machine dance earlier? You think in the 3-week span she's going to be as good as me? Someone who's trained their entire life? No way. So we'll see. Looking doubtful though, Kev. I don't think she can do it.
You know what? I got faith in Baby, man. If she's gonna major in economics as a woman in the '60s, I got all the belief in her in the world. So, she's gonna change the world, man. And so, yeah. So she dumps a pitcher of water on Robbie. So I guess he gets, a little bit of comeuppance, but not nearly so much as he deserves. Mm-hmm. Well, Baby goes and, her mind pinball. She's like, well, how can I help? I'll ask my dad. He's got the monies. So he goes and finds him on the golf course. By the way, Jerry Orbach, totally decent putt. Like, he's got some golf skills. Just want to throw that out there. I'm not much of a sports guy, Trav, but I played a little golf. And I can tell you, my man, Jerry Orbach, a.k.a. Dr. Daddy, can sink a putt. So she asks him, hey, can I get $250? But doesn't tell him why. And he's like, is it anything illegal? And she takes a real long time to answer, which, Trav, you've got kids. Like, if it took them that long to answer, would you be like, oh, yeah, they're definitely up to something illegal?
Yeah, man. Even though she's only 3.5, if I ask my daughter, like, where are you going with that, hammer? And if she hesitates for a second, I assume it's going to go put the cat down. So we got to keep an eye on the kids.
Oh, no, no.
They're always up to something.
Not any of your kitties. Not Ralph and Ralph. What's the other cat's name?
Leonard.
Yeah, no, I want Ralph and Leonard to be okay, man.
Me too.
So
I've sunk more money in them than I have her, to be honest with you.
You just keep that hammer wielding toddler away from those cats.
We'll try to keep the hammers out of reach.
So her father does. He gives her the money. And she very proudly runs back. Like, she's like super like beaming with pride that she got this money. So she goes back to give the money later that evening to Penny, and finds her with Johnny and Billy. And Penny at first is like, again, they're doing sexy mountain dancing, raunchy mountain dancing. And so Penny's like, I can't take this money, and finally there's a little bit of dialogue back and forth. And she decides to take the money. Johnny's like, we got to do it. And of course, Johnny gives her some attitude too. He's like, oh yeah, you're real brave. You went and asked your daddy for money. You're like, dude, she's trying to help out. I don't know what you guys are doing with the rest of your time. You got this problem and you're just sitting out here drinking beer and raunchy mountain dancing, but whatever, fine. You want to judge baby? Fine. Be my guest. And so she gets, so Penny takes the money, but they realize immediately that there's a problem because the only day that she can book to have this procedure done is at the same time as she's supposed to dance at the Sheldrake Hotel, which is another fancy hotel in the Catskills, supposedly. And this is where Trav, you alluded to earlier.
I might have been out of sync there, but now this is where they say, "Oh, who's going to be doing this dancing if it ain't me?"
Yeah. So this is when Jennifer Grey, who has been again chomping at the bit to get grinded on, grunded
upon,
grunded on. I don't know, one of those.
Grunded
from Patrick Swayze again, or Johnny says, "I'm in. I'll do it. I'll learn to dance." And Johnny's like, "Oh, she doesn't even know how to do it in the merengue." Which he has this weird. I don't know if we've commented on his accent.
Is now the time? Right. What is this accent? Now's the time, because sometimes it's easily New Jersey, and you're like, okay, all right. So he does allude to the fact that he had a bit of an on the streets upbringing, and he's got a bit of a tough guy attitude. Hey, am I a dancer? You know what I mean? Hey, but then sometimes he is kind of a country man, kind of a yuck. Let's get down here and get to dancing. And there's really no in between. It kind of goes from one to the other, almost like he has multiple personalities throughout the film. And it's confusing. I'm not saying he does the role, he nails the role. Oh, yeah. But there are some parts where he has longer monologues where you're like, oh, I don't know where you're from.
I don't get it. He was raised or was from Houston, Texas, so you get some of that Texas dialect in there, and then he's trying some hey, yeah, I'm doing a street jive voice. You know what I'm saying? And they needed maybe 2 weeks of dialect work, and his dialect would have been fine. But they're like, nah, we don't have time. We're just heading up to Mountain Lake.
Wing it.
So we get a montage scene here, all right? And this is the famous scene where Baby is dancing around on the boardwalk where the watermelons were earlier, and she dances up the stairwell or the outside stairs where she's kind of trying to learn. There's a whole bunch of kind of montagey stuff that happens here. And she's not doing well. I mean, she's trying, but she is awkward, dude. Trev, we talked about how awkward, and I want to appreciate that about Jennifer Grey for a minute. She brought the awkward to this role. Am I right, Trev?
It helps. I mean, as us, as the viewer, we're thinking, I'd be pretty awkward if I just came in off the streets. There's no way I'd be able to hold a candle to the Swayze, right? So she does do a good job of being that conduit. You want to see her get better. She's got to be Rocky, man. She's got to get ready for this big thing. We got to have music montages. We got to show her doing good, then doing bad, then doing good, then having a literal heart to heart with Patrick Swayze, who makes her feel his heart for an awkward amount of time. And you're like, is this going to help anybody dance? Probably not. A lot of that.
Trav, I'm going to tell you right now, if Patrick Swayze put my hand on his heart, I'd be dancing like you wouldn't believe. I'd be tap dancing up the side of Everest, my friend.
Yeah, I would actually just kind of put my face against it. I'd be like, yeah, so.
So, Baby is not doing well, and so they get a little frustrated, even though they have that little heart to heart moment, a literal heart to heart moment, and so Patrick Swayze says, "Hey, we need to go somewhere else. We need to get out. We need to go do this thing." And he does some very Zen master kung fu stuff, but not before he finds his keys. They're getting ready to leave to go do this, whatever dancing stuff in the woods. And he finds his keys are locked in the car. And Travis, I'm going to let you tell this part of the plot, because you said it used to scare you as a child.
Yeah, man. To see this, I don't know. I will say the way you phrased it made it sound like I came up in a very, volatile upbringing. My folks are very kind, but my mother, in fact, did have a very explosive temper. And I was a little skittish about the fact that he goes, it's just raining a little bit and you can't find his keys, He doesn't look too many places either. I will also say he doesn't check enough handles on this car to determine that he is in fact locked out of it. He checks the one and says, well, that's going to be a no-go. And then he reaches down and finds this, I guess it's called a stanchion, just a post in the ground, and pulls it out of the ground and just whaps this window until it breaks. And I'm like, my God, he just seems so, easy to incense. I'm a little bit afraid of his temper for the rest of the film after this.
He does. He just goes like 0 to 90 really quick. Just like, I'm gonna break the window. By the way, I think what I'll do is if you and I, we're both grown adults. We're allowed to curse, but I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. So if we curse, I'm gonna edit it out. I'll make like a little, little sound effect in there that'll get it out. So Trav, you do what you got to do, buddy. So they get in the car.
Okay.
And they're heading on down the road, and they find this tree trunk that's been fallen over, and he does some Zen master. This is like how you balance, and you kind of get some background information about Johnny, as far as like, he was this guy that was like out on the streets, and he had apparently Arthur Murray, which is a big basically teaches middle-aged people how to dance is really their bread and butter, but they were doing like talent scouting at whatever restaurant that he worked at, and was like, hey, you want to be a dance instructor? And he's like, heck yeah, I can walk on a fallen tree stump and balance. So he ended up doing that. And
paid off.
I mean, it did. It sort of paid off. So we kind of get that little bit of Patrick Swayze. I almost lost his name there for a second. That was crazy. Johnny's backstory, right? And I'm trying to remember, is this the bit? I think it is, where we get the infamous lift in the lake. Is this where this happens? This in this kind of this montage?
Yeah, right. After they go frolicking on stumps and they roll around the field, and this is the whole montage where they're really bonding. It's not so much about the dancing at this point, because we already had the dancing montage where it's like, oh, she's getting a little bit better. But now it's like, oh, look how they're growing together. They're getting really close. They go out into the middle of that lake that no longer exists. And, if you go to this lake, mountain lake, which is basically just a big hole currently, you can see from the gazebo, you can peer out, there's a cinder block standing out there, and there's a little placard, because it treats itself like a museum. Mountain Lake is very proud of this film. There's a little placard there that says, if you peer out yonder, you can see a cinder block, which is where Patrick Swayze stood. He stood upon the cinder block to raise himself slightly above the water level to lift her, to have some balance, to lift her up over his head. And so that scene, very, very iconic for the film. And most of the people that come to Mountain Lake, they're there for the dirty dancing, because there's no lake. What else are you there for? They're there. They're on hallowed ground. They're big fans. Every single person that you pass will ask you if you've seen the cinder block. So just a heads up, if you do go visit, that's what that's all about. I can see you, Trav, like somebody walks up to like, you know what that cinder block is? You're like, no, what is it? I did do that. I did do that several times. People were honestly, I just played ignorance about the film in general. They're like, in the movie where he lifts her above his head, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You talking about 10 Things I Hate About You? Which movie are you talking about? Wow, that's a good deep cut from the 90s, man. I appreciate that. That was based on a Shakespeare play, by the way. But we'll get there if we ever pull that bad boy out of the bin. So okay. Yeah, you get the lift here. I never realized, because again, I'd probably only watched this on like TBS, or maybe I wasn't paying attention, how when they're in the water, there's like a wet T-shirt element of this scene. I'm trying not to be too raunchy about describing it, but there are certain parts of Jennifer Grey's Anatomy that you can see because she has a wet T-shirt, and I'm like, how did this get on TBS? They must have like blurred some stuff out or something. They must have, because I would have noticed that. Yeah, you can't cut this scene. Like, you can't cut this scene from the movie. Like there is no Dirty Dancing without the lift in the lake. Like it just doesn't happen.
when they finally get down a pretty decent dance routine, and they head over, they do the performance at the competing resort or the other resort. It turns out fine. It's good. She kind of misses the lift. She doesn't have the confidence or whatever. I will say her and Penny, and I think this is in between those two times, between the lake and the dance recital, have like a little heart-to-heart moment that's kind of touching, but it doesn't really matter all that much to the plot. So the dance goes well. And when they get back again, as I mentioned, she missed the lift. We gotta say that's going to be the big moment at the end of the film. So we don't want to, it doesn't get spoiled this early in the film. So when they get back to the resort,
we got to work on that lift. Yeah,
they pull in to like the parking area, and somehow Billy, Johnny's cousin, just materializes out of nowhere. Like he's just been waiting for Johnny the whole time. He's like, "Oh man, the abortion didn't go good. Penny's not doing good," and so he grabs Johnny, and they head in, and we find
you made me laugh, and I didn't want to laugh at that part, but that delivery was humorous.
It was. It just like
I just want the audience to know I'm not a psychopath.
Yeah, no. I mean, they'll take that for granted, I think. But it's awkward because he just like pops out of a hole in the ground. He's like, where has he been standing the whole time? Does he know this is where Johnny always parks? Maybe he saw the post out of the ground and was like, yep, this is Johnny. This is Johnny, all right. And so anyway, he grabs Johnny. They head back to the cabin. And Penny's not doing good. So I don't know if it's after the abortion, they kind of allude to it was sort of a back alley kind of abortion deal.
Quack doctor, yeah.
Yeah, just not a good deal. And maybe so she's got some like sepsis or some kind of infection or something going on. So baby goes and gets her dad, who is, again, Dr. Daddy. He comes and he kind of, I don't know what miracle drug he applies, but we see Penny up and dancing like a week later. So, hey, good for Dr. Daddy.
He's good. But he's not happy about it. This is going to create the very strained rift between daddy and daughter.
Yeah, it is. He says, "Hey, don't you hang out with these people anymore?" Because he thinks that Johnny is the one that got Penny pregnant. Because
much like we all did. Yeah,
yeah, he did, and he thought, and to be fair to Jerry Orbach's character or Dr. Daddy, he says like, who's responsible for this woman, and Johnny says, I am, but he just means like, hey, I'm her friend, I'm her close confidant, her bestie, whatever. Not that I got her pregnant or got her in a family way. And so anyway,
right. And it's something that Johnny is kind of afflicted by not explaining the whole story.
He does, dude.
His life would be much easier if he said, but after some of the things he said.
Yeah, if he didn't just. But you know what though? Like, I've been the sort of like poor white trash dude, and like people don't want to hear it. Like, you could try to explain yourself all day. Yeah, well, I still am, frankly, but like people just don't want to hear your explanation. Like, no, you fit this stereotype that I know, so that's clearly the only truth I need to know about you. So I kind of am a little sympathetic to Johnny. So anyway, Penny's feeling a little bit better, and baby daddy says don't hang out with him anymore. Well, you tell your teenage, almost 20-something daughter not to do something. You know exactly what she's going to do. She's going to go spend the night with Johnny, and boy, does she ever. She goes directly to Johnny's pad, which, he's got his own place at the resort, but it looks like maybe a chicken coop that somebody put some furniture in a little bit.
It does. That is exactly how I was going to describe it.
Yes. And so, baby, she gives Johnny the business. She gives him the business.
And we don't mean got up in his face and complained about, something with her returned shoes. She didn't go full Karen. We're talking the good business. And they went at it. And I got to say, and we might have commented on this. I don't know if this is the actual session, but his refractory period, very, very minute. It's something to really take notice of.
This isn't that section, but we don't know that it's not that section either. I mean, like, this is
true.
This is the first time. But there's a little bit of like back and forth and that happens before that. And she does say, dance with me. I don't know why I sounded so husky when I said that. I could have sounded a little more like Jennifer Grey, but it felt right. And so anyway, it turns into a dance of seduction, Trav, and they consummate their will they, won't they relationship. Well, the next day, baby visits Penny to see how she's doing, and Johnny shows up, and Penny's like, oh, I know what's up. I see how y'all two making eyes at each other. I know what you've been up to. And so after Penny kind of dips out, or excuse me, Baby dips out, Penny's like, Johnny, you got to stop, man. You know this isn't something that's allowed. We can't. You're making a bad decision here. I mean, we all like Baby, but it's not going to end well. Well, when she walks out, there's this, or excuse me, when Johnny's like, yeah, no, I know what I'm doing. Because that's what every dude ever says, like, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
He walks out, and Baby's sitting out there, and she says, Johnny! And then they have this, like, I don't know, it felt like 25-minute long stare-off where there's supposed to be emotions that are being had, but I don't really know what was happening there.
Is this her hold back a fart moment where she does that weird,
100%.
like, creepy... I mean, she's already kind of creepy on him, especially. I mean, not in general. She's a very sweet girl in general. But with him, she's a little bit creepy. Still a little awkward in some ways. But that walk away where he kind of reassures her that things are going to be, fine. She does like this, like, she's holding back a grin. And then you get the grin comes out a little bit, but then there's a little bit of regret in that grin. And then more grin. And you're like, oh, she pooted. She totally pooted a little bit right there. You can just kind of tell.
Well, Johnny's resolve lasts all of, 20 minutes, and then the next scene they're in bed together again. Giving her to business. And there's this really great song, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Oh, I love that song. This is the one that you were talking about, Johnny's refractory period, which it's Patrick Swayze, so I'm surprised it was it was probably like 4 seconds, and he's just, boom, he's back. So this...
I know, man, getting his own rebounds and dunking them. I mean, insane.
I don't get sports, but that's good. And so anyway, it's one of those things. This is also the scene where Johnny kind of talks about how he feels like used by the more affluent cougar-esque women of the resort. Well, that's how that plays out. And there's a scene here where Baby's sister, they're kind of like night sleepy time, and Baby's sister says, I'm gonna go all the way with Robbie. And Jennifer Craig's character Baby is sort of like holding back the vomit in her mouth and is like, don't do that, that's a bad idea. And that's sort of where that scene leaves us. We know, like, have we mentioned that Baby's sister is thinking about or is kind of half dating Robbie? Have we mentioned that?
I don't think we've mentioned it. I mean, they've only alluded to it ever so slightly by showing them together, but yeah, she's planning to go to fourth base.
Yeah, definitely fourth base. So the next day, there's a few things that happen. Johnny and Baby are kind of rehearsing, and this is that, like, oh my god, it's so freaking cringy / I'm kind of jealous scene where it's like, come here, lover boy, and and she's like crawling across the floor. And Johnny's playing like air guitar, and I'm like, Trav, I've never seduced a woman. I've never laid on the floor and played air guitar and had her crawl towards me. Like, I've just never I've never lived a life, Travis.
I couldn't even pull that off with a real guitar if I were talented with it. Like, it's just not something that I have the coolness and capability of ever pulling off. Women just don't crawl toward me. They kind of saunter confusedly my way, and then I have to talk to them and buy them things for years before they commit to me.
and there's so much weirdness in the scene. So then, like, Neil, who's the boss's nephew, comes in. And he's like, hey, Johnny, I was thinking about mixing up the final show this year, and instead of doing Mambo, doing something. And then Johnny just starts like, yeah, I've been thinking about this Cuban number. And then he just starts like humping the air out of nowhere. He's like just air humping like a crazy person.
I know. He's so, and this is the thing. This is like his childlike, wonder of, he wants to put his stamp on his dance. He's tired of being told by the man what to do when he's dancing. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to do some Cuban rhythms and soul, baby. Let him do it. But Neil's like, nah, bro, we're thinking pachanga.
Which is a huge letdown. I know pachanga is a letdown, but if you're talking about 1990s Kevin, Topanga would have been a huge let up, if you know what I mean.
There you go. Samesies for me as well.
well, Neil leaves, and Baby kind of gives Johnny a little talking to. He's like, "Don't let Neil talk down to him, and don't let Neil talk down to you." And Johnny's like, "Yeah, but the problem is, I sort of need this job next year." And they walk by that infamous dumpster that you and apparently you and your missus spent a lot of time walking by. That was just like half of your vacation was walking by that dumpster.
Yeah, man. If you ever go, and we're talking it up, but if you ever go to Mountain Lake, there are a few places that are key to the film, and especially behind the main building, there is a sign. I don't even remember what the sign says, but you see it a couple times in the film. You see them; they walk up the path a couple of times, but there's a red dumpster with a sign posted on the side, and that they're so proud of that they kept it there. So there's still a dumpster with a sign on it. And if you go there today, you can go see that. If that's what you want to do, you can go get your picture taken with the sign on the dumpster. Keep that for your kids. Put that in your scrapbook.
So the next little bit of interest in this plot is where Robbie catches Baby sort of hugging Johnny, and Robbie, oh God, my neck is getting hot. He's like, yeah. I went dumpster diving. I went slumming one time too, baby. And Johnny just lays a beating on Robbie, and it's so satisfying. He does this thing where he throws him in the gravel 3 times and then punches him. Oh, it's so good. Oh man, I was glad to see Robbie get beat up.
Yeah, and the other thing I like about it, too, is he comes at him, and we mentioned cougar already, but he Bodukes that rail like a live cougar, like a real cat, and comes at Robbie, and it is awesome. He just attacks him, beats the crap out of him while he's wearing a stupid sweater. Ugh, it's good.
I was so glad to see Robbie take a beat. Not that I advocate for violence, but sometimes, Trav, sometimes it's
totally
due,
warranted for this guy. Yeah, he's been asking for it all film long.
So all film long, and so we see a little rehearsal for the final night, the talent show, and we see Lisa doing her really that's Baby sister, doing her really terrible vocal rendition of some song. And
oh, it's rough.
Wait, do that again, Trav.
Hula anna hana hula hula. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I did take notes and I wrote down hula anna hana, so that must be one lyric.
It was beautiful what you did there. Well, we find out that Vivian, who's sort of one of those, what do they call them? Bungalow bunnies, I think is what they call them. Like one of those cougars, is planning to have a little evening with Johnny tonight, and he's like, "No, I'm good." And then the husband, I don't know if he's like hot wifing or what, but dude, Vivian's husband's like, "Yeah, I'll pay you some extra money to dance with my wife tonight." And Johnny's like, "Nah, I'm kind of busy." Well, you know what he was busy doing? Giving the business to Baby. Well, later that evening, Lisa, who is Baby's sister, finds. She goes down to the cabin. She's gonna, quote unquote, go all the way with Robbie. Well, now we see a towel hanging on the doorknob, which, from my college days, I realize means that somebody's making a hanky-panky on the inside. Don't go in.
Right.
Well, she walks in anyway because she's sort of oblivious. She doesn't know what's going on. And she
never been to college.
Yeah, you've never been to college. Whatever, PhD. Get out of here.
No, she had never been to college.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
She had never seen a covered knob before. She was like, what on earth?
Is that part
laundry day?
Since you have a PhD and are super smart, is that part of a PhD program? You learn about the towel on the knob?
That's right. That's day one. Yeah. It's like you're going to be in school for a long time. You're going to need to know when people are banging.
So, yeah, anyway, she walks in and Robbie is banging Vivian, who is the cougar bungalow bunny, and
yeah,
that's what's happening. Which all of that gives me a little puke in my mouth. But at least they found each other, And so
I guess
then we see Johnny and Baby in bed together again after a hot, steamy night of raunchy mountain lovemaking. That's going on.
And I'm guessing 6 or 7 times, too. I mean, given this guy's stamina. I mean, you see he's very aerobic with his dances. He's got a good lean body. Drinks a lot of water. I'm thinking 6, 7 times.
At least. Well, Vivian sees them kissing and gleans that, hey, they've got some business going on. Well, turns out there's been some wallets, and we know who's been stealing these wallets, but some wallets have been stolen earlier in the film, and they suspect Johnny for some reason. I guess Vivian sort of said that he was the one that did it or whatever. I don't know. There's some sort of obtuse
I think she
plot
felt
point
a
here.
little scalded by him. And she saw them smooching, and she's like, "Oh, I'll get him in trouble."
And so Baby tells Kellerman, the resort owner, is like, "Oh no, Johnny couldn't have stolen these wallets. It must have been somebody else." It turned out to be a little old lady and her husband. Baby says, "Hey, look, Johnny didn't do it because I was with him." And then, right in front of her dad.
Dad's there at the table. They're at breakfast. He's talking to Kellerman. They're talking about this situation, and she's like, "I gotta stick up for Johnny. I'm his alibi. He was in me. He was with me all night."
Did you say anyway? That's fine. I'll let that go. And so anyway, they end up firing Patrick Swayze's character anyway because he was fraternizing with the guest, which I think is kind of messed up, but whatever, because it was consensual. But I guess that is part of their writer. And then as he spins out in his 50s era Chevrolet, there is the song "She's Like the Wind," which was sung by Patrick Swayze for this film score. As he drives away, and we think that's it. It's over. So we flash forward to the finale, the big show at the end of the season.
Well, we didn't. Did we cover the best part of the long 1,000-yard stare from the gazebo?
Trav, I almost missed that, dude. Oh no!
Yeah, right after poor Dr. Daddy gets this news that his innocent, tender daughter has been shacking up in the chicken coop with the rather highly sexual Patrick Swayze. He's not too happy. He goes out to the gazebo, pulls up a couple of chairs. He doesn't really know how many, but he uses both. Stretches his legs across and just stares out at the water.
That's
just staring.
That's where Baby learned her staring from. It was from Dr. Daddy.
That's right. It is staring. I guess is hereditary. And he's doing this, and it is a cold stare, too. And you and I noticed this. This is kind of a movie detail that you and I noticed. We think that they came back and filmed this part in the fall because we see some of the leaves are changing. There's a dead tree off to the right. He's wearing a coat like it's the middle of frickin' November. Anyway, that's beside the point. She comes up. They're going to have a heart-to-heart because...
It is. And they talk it out by Jerry Orbach not saying a single word and just staring off. He does some good acting here, and Jennifer Grey is there saying words.
But it's a very emotional moment.
It is. That sets the stage for the emotional final performance or final night, this big talent show that they've sort of been setting up the whole time. One important note here is Dr. Daddy goes up to Robbie and gives him some money, I guess, to help him with his medical studies. He thinks, like, I'm helping out this young doctor. He's this great guy. And then this is when Robbie divulges to Dr. Daddy. He says, "You know how it is. Sometimes you just bang these hangout girls up in the mountain and knock them up. But, I mean, I don't even know that it was my kid. I don't even know it was my kid."
Yeah.
And Jerry Orbach is like, he gets this look on his face like he smelled spoiled bologna and just takes his money back. Takes his money back from Robbie. And you're like, God, can someone just hit Robbie again? Well, this is starts that sort of wind down. You don't know exactly what's happened. Well, all of a sudden, boom, the door pops open and Johnny walks in and he finds Baby.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. And Trav, I'm gonna give you a gift, my friend. I'm gonna give you a little nugget. I'm gonna give you a little present, my friend. He finds Baby sitting in a corner, and what does Johnny say?
Oh man, it's one of those famous movie lines. How's it go? Let me see if I can get it. Ain't nope. No, it's not ain't. No, it's it just starts regular, right? It's nobody puts Baby in a corner.
It was good.
Yeah?
You had a little bit of Steven Seagal energy there, but I still appreciate it, man. And he does. He takes her up, and he says, he does this like, he takes her out of the corner, and Dr. Daddy's like gets up, and his wife says, "Hey, sit down. Sit down.
Right.
Don't you ruin
so
this.
Good.
Don't you ruin this for Baby." And so he gets up on stage, and he's like, "I'm going to do this dance the way I want to with an awesome dancing partner." And then that song Had the time of my life, getting ready for halftime at a football game, or
yeah, good times, good stuff.
And so they start doing the dance, and there's a lot that I really appreciate that's going on here. The first is the energy in the hall. In the dance area just jumps up. I mean, everybody's like, Johnny's back. We all love him. Yeah, he's the best. And so they start doing this dance routine. It's getting hot. It's getting steamy. It's technical. Baby still looks like she's, maybe holding in a fart. It's just part of it, right? And then he runs out into the audience. Apparently, when he also jumped off the stage to start this dance number, he jacked up his knee. But Patrick Swayze kept going because he's a manly professional. He's like, I'm ready to do
Pretty
this.
Strong gentleman. Yeah.
And so he kind of gets to the back of the arena, not the arena, the dance hall, and the other dancers, how they've choreographed this routine, I don't know. Johnny's in the front. Maybe they're just following along his lead. Doesn't really matter. They start coordinatedly dancing the moves that he's dancing, and then Baby's up on that stage. She's swishing that dress back and forth. You know it's coming, Trav. You know that lift is coming. And she comes off that stage, and the camera's following her, and she's running past all these people. And Patrick Swayze, boom, picks her up. It's the lift, Trav. It's the lift. Woo!
There it is. Don't even need a cinder block in a lake, and everyone is thrilled to see it. And, we see Mom, who's always kind of been a little bit, we focus more on Jerry Orbach as the parent who's got the more, emotional tie-in to their relationship. But Mom's getting into it, man. You can tell she's having a good time. Dr. Daddy's still not, he's a little hesitant. He's like, I don't know if I'm into this. But I know that Robbie is the bad. But I'm still not too thrilled about Johnny. But you can tell he's slowly coming around. Smiles coming all over the face. Mom gets up. She starts dancing, popping it left, popping it right. Little pop and lock. Everybody's starting to break loose a little bit. We're having a good time.
It is. I mean, it's the footloose moment where the town finally dances. Everybody's loosening up. Of course, Vivian, the Bungalow Bunny Cougar, decides to get up and leave because she's, hates everything. And so, there's a little scene that happens real quick. Johnny and Baby are heading out, I'm assuming, for a little bit of getting the business. And Jerry Orbach, or Dr. Daddy, stops Johnny and says, probably one of the worst apologies I've ever heard in my life. He says, and I quote, "When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong." Dude, that is not an apology. Like, if you upset your wife and you went in the room and you said, "When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong," like, how's that going to play out?
I mean, you're just announcing that when you're wrong, you say you're wrong. You're not actually saying that you're wrong at that point. He needed to follow that up with, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I was wrong. I am sorry. But he just announced, like, listen, my personality type, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong, and I'll be seeing you later. I thank you and good night.
And I mean, that's pretty much the end of this movie. There's a few more dancing things that happen, and there's some voiceover stuff at the end, and the end credits roll. But that's about it, man. Wow. We
did it.
We did it. We got through the movie on our very first episode here. I got to tell you, Trav, though, I'm a little afeared that we ran way over our 45 minutes that we thought we were going to do.
No, we nailed it. What are we at? Like an hour and 25, hour 30? We're good. People will listen to the whole thing, man. They'll love it.
That's all right.
You know what's weird about the ending of the movie, though, is that you see Penny dancing, and you're like, why are we even here? Couldn't you have been dancing? If you're dancing now, couldn't you have been up there? What's going on with you?
What's going on, man? Well, you know what, Trav? I'm going to say, buddy, I really appreciated this movie. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I had a good time watching it with you. We're getting to know each other. We're feeling out this podcast vibe that we're trying to bring. And you know what? This was a movie to start it with.
I say, man, nothing brings two strange mountain dudes together like one of your first dates being to watch a little bit of Dirty Dancing together and then dissect it with the precise dissecting tools that we have as improvisationalists and movie watchers and just dudes with microphones. I think we nailed all of it.
I think Uncle Doug's going to be proud of us, man, after this first episode. I think he's going to be like, That's what he's going to say, Sam. But that's a good noise when you get it from Uncle Doug.
I know, I agree with that. Just a little bit of a grunt would be good. I'm not looking forward to explaining to him how to download a podcast, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be an uphill struggle for both of us. But that's for another talk, another day.
If you could just record it onto a cassette tape for him, that would probably be for the best. Well, now this film, Trav, was a huge success. It grossed $214 million at the box office, and it made Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey household names. Now, I know you and I hadn't touched on this, but apparently Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey just didn't like each other. They had filmed Red Dawn together back in, I think, 1984. And just had a little beef. But you know what? I think that tension played well on screen. Now,
yeah, their little beef gave me a lot of beef in this movie, so I appreciate that.
It definitely is. Before 50 Shades of Grey even graced the screens or the printed page, this movie was making middle-aged women, and in this case, 2 middle-aged men, laugh, cry, swoon for decades. You know what I'm saying, Trav?
It sure did. It sure did. It holds up on all 3 marks. Laughing, crying, and swooning. This movie still got it. Got it.
This was good, man. We ought to do another episode of this. I mean, we ought to do a whole season of this. What do you think?
I got about 9 more in me, bud. And then we can think about it. We can stop and reassess and think about what we've done. But until then, guys, if you like what just happened, if you heard that and you were like, gosh dang, I wouldn't mind having a little bit more, maybe movie adjacent, sure. You might like our other shows. For more me, head on over to polymedianetwork.com and check out my other podcasts like Polykill for gaming. We got Drunk Friend for interviews with creative people, Tales of the Lesser Medium for bad video game stories told well. And if you like Kevin, seek out the podcast Blue Peg, Pink Peg. And you might even find another show featuring Kev on the polymedianetwork.com website in the not-too-distant future. And we want to thank our pal Harvest Black for our theme song. And just like our Uncle Doug always says,
it was the summer of 1963 when everybody called me baby, and it didn't occur to me to mind.